This is episode 14.
Today's question is, how did civil institutions develop apart from governments, and what impact have they had upon European states?
So the Enlightenment was known as the Age of Reason. New ideas were created and being discussed. Institutions such as salons, who were hosted mainly by wealthy aristocrats, and the wealthy writers, artists would gather around and discuss these new political ideas and scientific ideas. Others decided to kind of print their ideas in new works, and even though it was redacted by the European governments, they still kind of slipped out and it spread throughout Europe, these new ideas. And people, for once, were able to develop their own opinions. They weren't blinded by government ideologies. They could think for themselves. Natural science and literature supported those who wished to kind of learn about what was outside of Europe, civilizations and people. Sir Hans Sloane would donate his collection in 1753, which would ultimately create the British Museum, where people could look upon this collection and learn about the outside and those civilizations outside of Europe. So these institutions created a whole new cultural aspect for European nations.
Another group that kind of emerged was the Feminists. They emerged in the 19th century, and they basically fought for women's civil and political rights. During this time, women could not vote, they didn't have the same education as men, and they were paid less. Education was really important to women because they really believed that to raise an intelligent generation, they needed to be intelligent too. So in the late 19th century, though they had to wait a long time, the government started to form secondary education for women. In World War I, women's roles were very important during this time. They took on their husbands' jobs, or men's jobs in general. They conserved food, and they made care packages for these soldiers. And one important thing is that they became nurses in order to treat injured soldiers. This ultimately led to more support for women's suffrage. And basically, women, they would riot, they would have mass meetings and petition for their right to vote because they truly believed that they were equal to men and that they deserved this right. So, in 1918, Great Britain finally allowed women over 30 to vote, and this launched a succession of other countries allowing women to have the benefit of voting. Another thing that emerged with feminism is that women became more involved into political life. For example, Margaret Thatcher, she became the first female prime minister in Great Britain. So obviously, feminism emerged and became a huge force within Europe and basically the whole world. Women were able to get voting rights, more education, and have, their own sense of self more than before.
Okay, let's recap. So the Enlightenment, Age of Reason, brought along many new institutions such as salons. Others decided instead of discussing their ideas in these salons, they would print them and spread them throughout Europe, which allowed people to freely think and have their own opinion. And the British Museum allowed others to learn about the outside world outside of Europe.
Another thing that arose was feminism. Women just wanted to be equal to men because obviously during this time period men were viewed as superior to women. Women were paid less, they couldn't vote, and they didn't get the same amount of education. So throughout the 19th to 20th century, women were able to receive education, they were more respected, and were able to get the right to vote.
Hey, check us out on the next episode, Tea Timers. Bye bye!